can musical practice be an answer for someone trying to open more to spirit?
Anything could be an answer to that. It's not about music. Music can shut you down. It can work both ways. So music can be frustrating. A lot of people I know are frustrated by music. A lot of great players are frustrated. Always trying to do this, trying to keep up with that, trying to get better, trying to sound like so-and-so. And so that's their frustration. So, they kill themselves. So, because it's not about music. So it's about the self, the ego. It's not about music. It's about the ego in the music. See? And so, can that help a person move towards the spiritual? Who's to say? You know, the spiritual is a separate level. Music's a separate level. See? It's like defecating. That's a certain level. So you go to the bathroom for that. Right? And then you close the door, you finish up, and then you go out and you be with the people, and that's another level. Right? And so we have different functions. We have to understand that the different functions sometimes have their own time and they make their own demands. It's a function that we create. We agree to the function and we need it, right? We think we need it, so we do it. See? And if you're in the musical culture, then there's a lot of competition. There's a lot to keep up with. It's just ongoing. It's endless. See, depending on what you're playing. Some music's easy to play. You know. Less demanding than other kinds of music. And so when you're talking about jazz, it's very demanding, you know, it's very competitive, so you got to be working hard to keep up because, you know, otherwise you get washed away. So I was part of that, but I never had a problem with it. I was always on you know, I guess you might say my toes in a certain way. I just had it going on in a certain way. I didn't have to try to play it, and, you know, I don't play what everybody plays. So everyone has got their work cut out for them in their own way. Coming from a spiritual basis makes the spiritual my normal, a natural state. So what you mean by spiritual is a question. What do you mean by spiritual? Religious? So it's a concept, you see. Some people feel they're very spiritual. We're not going to take that away from them. That's what they feel. Other people feel, well, they got to work on it, or sometimes they're spiritual, sometimes they're not. See? But the spiritual is, in fact, it's a continuum, in my case. It's never not that. It's always the awareness of the spirit, you know, spiritual and, let's say, the background of life. It's there. It's the foundation for life. See? And so, regarding the music, I've been fortunate to play with what we would call spiritual players, people who like to play free, and they like to play from inside. And they also have tremendous facility and virtuosity to be able to express that. So that had to take time somewhere, sometime, apart from the spiritual. So that's the work that is done behind the scenes to keep up. So people have to practice for the most part, not everyone in the same way. So you have to create your balance between musical practice and then what you would call spiritual practice in the way that you know it, which could be yogic practice. It's exercising, right? So it's not really spiritual, but it can bring you to feel better. So we say, well, it's spiritual because after I did my yoga, I felt better. Because before I did my yoga, I didn't feel good. I felt like garbage. So, you know, that's not spiritual necessarily, right? Spiritual, depending on what you mean, it could be a number of things. So it's a good point. And it's good to have a good balance of those things. The healing, spiritual healing, and then musical expression, nice combination.